in hearing directly from the people who live there, because they know best on how their issues can be resolved. And so we believe in that form or style of government. That's why we work so hard every day to ensure that every citizen of this country is part of the transformation that is taking place. And the transformation is undeniable. It's there for all to see. I couldn't help but notice as I was coming in and walking on a newly paved concrete road. Maybe it's a road or a footpath, I'm not sure, but I'm sure that at some point it was a mud dam. And I am sure, even without asking, that it was built by the PPPC. Is that so? And just like everything else, you can go to Region 1, you can go to Region 2, you can go to Region 3, Region 8, Region 10, and you can look around any community, whether you're in the valley or whether you're on top of the mountain, and you can look around at all the development, whether it's roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, health centers, housing schemes, and you don't have to ask who built it. All built by the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration in government. Because we're a party that builds. Because we're a party that ensures that progress always continues. And we build on that progress continuously. That is our philosophy. And we ensure that in that process of building out our country and in that process of transformation, that everybody is involved. And even more so under the leadership of President Ali, who is ensuring that through all of these initiatives, that all of our people are included in this development and are part and parcel of ensuring that they contribute to the development of their communities. I am responsible for the housing and water sector. And in that sector, we've seen massive transformation in the lives of the people who have benefited from our housing program. We promised in 2020 when we came to the people that we will deliver 50,000 house lots. Today, we haven't completed our term yet, but we have already delivered 43,000 house lots that have benefited 43,000 families. Over 18,000 of which are women, helping our single women, our single mothers, empowering them with an asset, giving them a certificate of title or a transport that they can take to the bank and they can access a loan so that they can achieve home ownership. And Region 6 is no exception. Region 6, we have already distributed 2,200 house lots. And before the end of this month, we have a planned activity to come back on the 25th and on the 26th to deliver another 1,600 house lots to address the backlog here in Region 6. And you can see the transformation in all of the new housing areas. Number 75, 79, Hampshire, Williamsburg, Ordnance Portlands, Molson Creek, Black Bush Polder, Palmyra. All of these are areas that we are working on, where we have new housing areas. In the water sector, we are expanding our existing treatment plants, rehabilitating and expanding the treatment plants at Port Morant, at New Amsterdam, and constructing a new large water treatment plant at Adventure, so that we can ensure that all the people who live on the coastline here in Region 6 have access to clean, treated water. And for those far-flung communities, like Black Bush Polder, that are not easily accessible from the coast, we have introduced another initiative to build smaller water treatment plants to benefit these areas, 6 of which are being built in this region: at Joanna, at Mibicuri, Crabwood Creek, number 62 to 74, Chesney, and Edinburgh. These are already under construction and will be completed by the end of May. When these 6 small water treatment plants are completed, all the people who live in these areas will have access to treated water, including where we are right now. This is the type of visionary leadership that is taking place under the People's Progressive Party Civic. And we are drilling new wells as well, 4 of which have already been approved for this region, in Yakasari, Joanna, number 69, and number 56. So we are always building on our achievements, building on our accomplishments. And any one of the ministers here or in government can talk for hours about the achievements in each of our sectors, because this government works hard to ensure that people's lives are transformed. And President Ali is a leader who works, I know you see him everywhere, all over the country. He works 24 hours a day. And you know how I know that? Because at 2 o'clock in the morning, when my phone is ringing about somebody housing problem, he's up, he's working, he's responding. We have collaborations with foreign leaders. You know that we have an ongoing controversy, for example, with Venezuela. When President Ali is speaking to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, when it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, it's 8 o'clock London time, speaking with world leaders for our security, for our protection. He has been a selfless leader, and this is what it takes to lead a country that is going through this tremendous transformation. It takes continued dedication, sacrifice, and selflessness to ensure that all of the programs, the policies, the initiatives that are introduced reaches every single Guyanese. And so many will come, and they came before and promised things. And from the 2015, June the 2015 to 2020 period, we saw what happened. That period characterized by broken promises, by neglect, by stagnation, by frustration and suffering. And this region was no exception. As a matter of fact, Region 6 bore the brunt of that vindictiveness. And then the People's Progressive Party Civic came back into government in 2020 after much struggle, a struggle that included all of us, a struggle that was led by the PPPC, but included all Guyanese. Because I remember when we started the first day of guarding containers, I stood outside of Artachon Convention Center and I saw random vehicles pull up. The ordinary people, young people, old people pull up, got out of their cars, opened their trunk, or took out a chair and sat on the road to help us to guard containers so that we can protect and safeguard democracy. And the people stood with us in that struggle. And after we went into government, we stood with the people. We stood by our word. We stood by our commitments. And we stood with you in ensuring that all of the things we said that we would do, that we would get it done. And we didn't stop there. We went far beyond what we committed. Because when we come to communities and we hear from people, we hear about people's real life experiences, we go back and we fix it. That's how we have always worked. That's how we operate in this party. It's not a lazy party. And we don't come here for selfish gains or to use the struggles of people for our own political gain. We come and we listen to people. We engage you. And we take all of your concerns. We go back and we find solutions, because that's what real leaders do. That's what honorable leaders do. That's what respectable people do. And President Ali is leading this initiative, and I am extremely proud to be a minister in his cabinet, where I can walk in every single community and hold my head high, knowing that my president is honorable and has ensured that all of the commitments that we made to people are upheld. We can go in any community across this country and nobody will say, we're seeing you for the first time, because we have always stood with the people and we've always been present. So I know we have some indigenous ministers to this region, Minister Ashley Singh and Minister Mustafa. So we're going to move seamlessly through the remarks this afternoon. And I thank you very much for coming out on this Sunday afternoon and joining us for this meeting and joining His Excellency. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will hand you over now to my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Zulfikar Mustafa.
I'm happy to be here this afternoon accompanying our President to this folder. And when I look at this attendance here, this tells us a story. It seems that this is a rally that we come to Black Bush here this afternoon addressing. And I want you to give our young, vibrant, and energetic President of Black Bush welcome. Let me hear you. And you know, our party, the People's Progressive Party, we are not a party that only comes now. You see us every single day, every single week, every single month. We are here, there, and everywhere. We are in every single corner of this country. And on behalf of the People's Progressive Party, it is an honor to be here this afternoon to address you on behalf of a government that is proactive. And this polder, Black Bush Polder, has a special place in the history of our party and government. Black Bush Polder is not just a community. It is another growing heartland of agriculture in our country. This polder, Black Bush Polder, teaches us an important lesson. It teaches us to live in community spirit. It teaches us to live in unity. It teaches us to live in peace. And it teaches us to produce for the development of our country. Your polder, Black Bush Polder here on the country. It's very important because I know this community was one of the community that bore the brunt of the suffering from 2015 to 2020. I came here many times during those periods, and many of you, almost all the residents, approximately 1,500 households who are involved in agriculture, their livelihood were neglected by the last government. We are here today to have a discourse with your president. And this is not the first time he's here in this polder since he has been elected as the president of our country. He is here on a number of occasions. He is here again. And he will come in the future to listen to you. That is why, as Suzanne rightly said just now, this is our second day in Berbice, and we have had a number of meetings. But the most important part of these meetings are the part where we are listening to the citizen and the resident, to listen to your concerns, to listen to your problems. And that is the difference between us as a party and the other parties in our country. We always listen to your proposals, your views, to see what we can do. And I can remember when we went to the elections in 2020, we went across this country. We had a number of discussions where we had farmers, we had workers, people from different sectors of society. We had discussion with them. We sat down, we listened to their views, we listened what they need, and we listened to see how we can bring betterment to their lives. And when we finish those discussions, we sat down and we crafted a manifesto of commitments that as long we are elected, as long you vote for us and we are elected in office, we will deliver those commitments and promises to the people of our country. We are close to complete approximately 5 years, just 4.5 years in government. And if we look from where we came from 2020, August of 2020, to presently, and we look at what promises we have made to the people of this country. And I'm not telling you, you can go and check it. In Black Bush Polder, all the residents in Black Bush Polder now enjoy the internet service. You can go on your phone, your smartphone, and go and check the PPP's manifesto. See what were the promises we made in 2020. And as I said, we are just 4.5 years, just over 4.5 years. But besides what we have achieved, if you look when we took over government in August of 2020, we had to deal with a pandemic. So 2 years were lost in dealing with that pandemic. We were not able to meet publicly. Our movements were constrained. We didn't have the chance to deal with a number of issues for 2 years. We had to deal with the pandemic. So when you look back, it's just 2.5 years. 2.5 years we were able to work on the commitment and promises we have made in our manifesto in 2020. And when you look at that, you go and Google it when we finish this meeting this evening. Because you know I am a regular here in Black Bush Polder. And you will tell me all issues. In 2015, just before the elections, you here in Black Bush Polder, we had a lot of visits coming from the AP and AFC. They came to this polder promising the rice farmers that they were giving $9,000 a bag for a party. Y'all remember that? Yes. And they were expanding the rice industry in Black Bush Polder. Because almost 95% of the residents in Black Bush Polder are planting rice. and they are making a livelihood from rice. And you all are interested in rice. What they did? When they went into government, and they called the rice farmers to a meeting at the convention center in Georgetown, what they told the rice farmers? So rice is a private business. It's a business between the miller and the farmer, and they can't intervene. I can remember I came here in 2019, and rice price went down as low as $2,100 a bag for a paddy. $2,100 a bag. People were unable to continue planting. People were unable to cultivate the land. $2,100 a bag for paddy cannot even pay the rent that some of y'all are renting the land for, or the amount. And we saw steep decline in rice production. Unlike them, what is happening today? Although the world market price for rice has declined tremendously, and the millers are saying that they can't keep the price, the last crop price, your government, under the leadership of our president, have intervened, and every bag of paddy you sold to the rice miller, the government is contributing $300 to that. That will amount to about $3 billion to in the pocket of the rice farmers in this country. Those are the commitments we're talking about. So we have to be careful, because we are seeing once again, they are coming along to make promises. The APNUAFC last time, they used a number of persons to come about during the 2015 election campaign. Y'all remember who used to come in the polder? Y'all used to see Nagamutu very regularly, and Ramjatan. Well, the last time Ramjatan came here, he came with Nigerians. And you are saying that they're going to revitalize back the rice industry. I don't know what they revitalize. We have moved production for the first time in the history of this country since the production of rice. Last year we surpassed the 700,000 ton mark. We produced 725,000 tons of rice. A history and a record-breaking production for our country. And you have been a valuable contributor to that target right here in Black Bush Polder. So we will continue. And the president has made some very important announcement, which I hope he will repeat back here, this for you, the rice farmers. Because we are not only supporting your prices for rice, we are making valuable support in other areas. For 2 crops, 2 years, we have given fertilizer, free fertilizer, contributed fertilizer. When we went into government, there were VAT on agriculture machinery, agriculture input, things like chemical. What we did, we removed the VAT on those items. We rehabilitate the seed paddy facility at Leslie Holding here, where I am hoping that facility can produce all your seed paddy needs right here in Black Bush Polder. We are working with the farmers to rehabilitate the drainage canals in Black Bush Polder. We have started a program already. Some are in the tendering stage, and we will in the near future continue to bring relief to you. Those are issues that affect your life directly. And those are the commitments that we have made. When we came to you in 2020, we have delivered on all the promises and commitments. When you look across Region 6 today, we are seeing a region that is being modernized. In every single corner of Region 6, we are seeing new roads being built. Right here in Black Bush Polder. Many times when I came before, many residents were complaining that they have to traverse mud dams. Today, under your government, under the PDP civil government, under the leadership of Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, almost all the road is being done across Black Bush Polder. We have upgraded the mud dams and we are building concrete modern roads right here in Black Bush. We are working to develop other mega structures. As I'm speaking here, you know for a fact that one of the issues plaguing Black Bush Polder is flooding. When we have heavy and excessive rainfall, one of the first areas to be affected is Black Bush Polder. We are now building 3 mega structures, 3 hope-like canals, the high-level canals, which will mitigate flooding in Black Bush Polder. In the dry weather, we will have those canals act as reservoir. And in the rainy season, we will have direct drainage from the backland right onto the Atlantic without putting stress in the cultivation and housing drainage system so that we can minimize flooding. Those are all the things that we are doing. And as I'm speaking, works have already commenced on those projects. We have already built an embankment from number 66 right on to Kanji, Bimshab in Kanji by Kanji Creek. So all the backland water from this area here will be prevented from coming into the housing area. But you, the farmers, we have to work also with you, because many times we have these structures in place. And you know for what I'm saying about. Many times I come to meetings here, one farmer get flood in his plot, he cut the dam, and everybody suffer. Now that is so? Answer me yes or no? Yeah. Okay. So we have to stop doing those things, because government, $6 billion. The government will be expending $6 billion to build these structures. So if we want an area that is productive and that will not be affected by floods, then we have to cooperate and work according to the rules. So comrades, leaving out the roads network, leaving out the DNI, what we have been doing for the DNI, we have started a program to do some of the back drains already, but I think we'll have more work done. I came to Black Bush, had meetings with the farmers. We all made a number of requests. You need machines. We are now having machines in all the polder. You need small machines to do the drainage, small interlocking drains. We gave Black Bush Polder 2 mini excavators that they have been using. Right here I brought it and did the presentation to the NDC. We are now working to do other things. And when you look at what we will be doing in the future, because over the last 4.5 years, we have changed the landscape of Black Bush Polder. In every single corner, when I talk about agriculture areas alone, agriculture infrastructure, that applies to the DNI and to the public works infrastructure, to health, to sports, education. The last time we came to the Mibicuri school, when the president there instructed a number of works to be done, and we did those works. Those works are completed. You have some small areas still, and we are working to deal with those areas. But it's important because we are just months away. We are months away from elections. And during the last 4.5 years, You didn't see lots of people come in this polder, except people from the People's Progressive Party and the government. You never see those persons who are coming now, coming to this polder. Now they start to come back. We got a comrade in this party, an old comrade named Harry Prasad Nocta. You all know him. He always say that during this period he has described this period as mango season. You see all kind of birds come, and when mango season done and gone, then I come back. But we from this party is not like those birds. We always come here. In the bad times, and in the good times, and every time the People's Progressive Party will be with you here in Black Bush Polder. As I said, this scheme holds a special place in our heart. This was one of the schemes that was built and opened by Dr. Cherry Jagan. And we will continue to bring development to this scheme. We will continue to bring projects to enhance your livelihood. We will continue, because when we build roads outside on the county highway, we will build roads in Black Bush Polder. When we build health center out there, we will build health center in Black Bush Polder. When all the other facilities, we will ensure that you enjoy what other parts of this country have been enjoying. The same kinds of development we are doing in the urban area, the same kinds of development we are doing here in Black Bush Polder. And we will continue to transform this polder. You all remember this polder had a title, the breadbasket of Guyana. Probably the president might be a little annoyed with me because he has two polders in Region 3 too. Canals Polder 1 and 2. But Black Bush Polder used to be described as the breadbasket of Guyana. Likewise, how Guyana used to be described as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Well, those days are coming back. Those days will be here once again under the leadership of our young, vibrant President, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are here this afternoon to listen to our President. I want to tell you, let's beware of those false prophets. They will come here to make all kinds of commitments. We give to every citizen 18 years and over, we give a special cash grant. You hear them attack now in government, getting government, and got triple that. They say they will give $400,000 as, what do you call it, payee, tax relief. You all remember they said they got double village pension, what they did. You all remember they said they will give you $10,000 back for your party, what they did. You all remember they told the sugar worker they will give them 20% increase, wage increase, what they did, close for sugar estate. So we have to remember these things. And they feel, you know why they come into these areas? They feel that you have been supporting the PDP all the time. The APNU can't come here, so they are using different persons to come here as their proxy, to come here to win support. They feel that you are vulnerable. They feel that people in Black Bush Polder are vulnerable, that they can get caught easy and support them. But I know you. I know the people in Black Bush. I know you Rosarians. I know you are supporting the PDP, and you will never ever support another party besides the People's Progressive Party Civic. So comrades, this afternoon, I want to tell you that the modernization of Guyana have just started. There are lots more work to be done. And in the next term, there will be massive development, massive transformation. Already we saw a number of large projects have started. The 4-lane County Highway, we have the Green High Span, Demerara Bridge, the 4-lane Demerara Bridge. We see massive development taking place right across our country. We see stadium being built in Barbies, new hospitals being built in Barbies. You see already the president announced about another 4-lane high span bridge across the Barbies River. Those are the massive development that will take place in the next term. So I ask you here this afternoon, let us remember our history. Let us remember which party stood with you. I remember a time when we were in opposition and we came to Black Bush Polder. Many persons were unable to provide material for the children to go to school. We had to, many people were asking for books, things like exercise books, pen, and teaching and material for children to go to school. Many times, families had to be provided with hampers. Those days are gone. We have seen a new dawn. We have seen a new dawn now. And let us continue to support progress. Let us continue to support a party that has your interests and your children's interests at heart. Let us continue to support a party that has your children's future secure. And that is a party that has stood the test of time. A party that was formed by Dr. Cherry Jagan, and over the years, that party has fought for independence, fought against dictatorship. We started development from 1992 to 2015, and then again we saw what took place from 2015 to 2020. And when we had elections in 2020, we saw what took place from March to August. They wanted to steal our vote. Your party, the PDP, always was at your side. We fought on the one government, and under the leadership of Dr. Mohammed El-Fanali, we see the development taking place. And I want to ask you here this afternoon, let us continue to support peace, progress, and prosperity. Let us continue to support His Excellency Dr. Mohammed El-Fanali, and progress will always be. I want now to pass the microphone to Dr. Singh.
Thank you very much, Comrade Zulfikar Mustafa, my distinguished cabinet colleague, Minister of Agriculture, and and Executive Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. Comrade President, cabinet colleague, Comrade Susan Rodriguez, Minister of Housing and Water, Regional Chairman, Comrade David Amaran, NDC Chair, and councillors, representatives of other government agencies, and most of all, my dear brothers and sisters from Black Bush Polder. Let me first of all thank all of you for coming out in such large numbers on a Sunday afternoon. I know that often on Sunday afternoons you might have other things that you might normally be doing. But the fact that you've come out in such large numbers are, in my mind, a very clear and strong signal of your commitment and support to the People's Progressive Party and your love for your President, Dr. Mohammed El-Fanali. The people of Black Bush Polder have historically supported the People's Progressive Party, as have the people of Region 6, and as have the majority, the overwhelming majority of the people of Guyana. In fact, history records it that the People's Progressive Party has won every single democratic elections that have been held in Guyana. If you really examine, I think that deserves a round of applause. And that relationship between the people of Guyana, the people of Region 6, and in particular the people of Black Bush Polder, that relationship between the people and the People's Progressive Party didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen by good luck. It didn't happen by coincidence or chance, what you say, luck and chance. It happened, or it arose, it has arisen over the years as a result of a long track record of our party making responsible commitments to the people of Guyana, and as a result of our party making commitments that are in the interest of the people of Guyana and working in the interest of the people of Guyana. And this strong relationship between the people of Black Bush Polder and the People's Progressive Party is a result of our party's long-standing track record of delivering on those commitments. If you look throughout history, you will see the overwhelming and compelling evidence of this. Let us consider, I'm not going to go back all the way to 1964. Comrade Zulfi has already given us that very important historic perspective. Let us simply go back to 2020, well, maybe a little bit before that. Let us go back to the commitments that we gave to the people of Guyana as we were approaching the 2020 elections. Now, remember that as we were approaching the 2020 elections, Guyana was once again under the grip, the stranglehold of another PNC, APNU, AFC dictatorship. As we know, between 2015 and 2020, APNU, AFC had come into government, and all that they did, well, let me say first of all, I wouldn't say that they did nothing during their 5 years. I would say that they did nothing positive during their 5 years. Instead, what they did was break every promise that they had made to the Guyanese people and unleash hardships to the Guyanese people, and they took away benefits from the Guyanese people. That was the period from 2015 to 2020. Comrade Zulfi has already spoken about the promises they had made to sugar and what they actually did when they came into government. Comrade Zulfi has already spoken also about the promises that they made in connection with rice, including the $9,000 bag for Paris, and what they actually delivered when they came into government. And we saw their behavior. We saw their dictatorial behavior, manipulating, first of all, the electoral machinery. And the attempt to rig didn't start in March 2020, it started long before that. You remember when a chairman had to be named for GCOM, they rejected 3 lists of 6 names each. 18 names of distinguished Guyanese citizens were cast aside by APNU AFC. These people were nominated by our now Vice President, our then the then opposition leader and General Secretary of our party, still General Secretary of our party, Dr. Jack Dale, who nominated first 1 list of 6 names. Major rejected that and said these people are not fit and proper. Nominated a second list of 6 names, pitched that aside too. Nominated a third list of 6 names, pitched that aside and said all 18 of these people, none of them are not fit and proper. And then imposed his own selection. Later on, the Caribbean Court of Justice would rule that that selection, the imposition, the unilateral selection and imposition of a chairman, a GCOM by Granger, was unconstitutional, and GCOM would throw that out. CCJ would throw that out. The Caribbean Court of Justice threw it out after a long legal battle. You laugh, uncle. You know that is true. They come and use some Mibicuri and Ramjatans with some false promises, all kind of big promises. And then when they got into government, impose hardship on the Guyanese people. So that is the context. And very quickly the Guyanese people realized, you, my brothers and sisters, my comrades and friends, you and Guyanese people throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, decided, after barely couple months, the Guyanese people decided we have had enough and we're going to get rid of APNU AFC. And so we started, led, once we had selected our presidential candidate, by presidential candidate as he then was, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, and our General Secretary, Dr. Baya Jagdeo, started to prepare our manifesto. And that manifesto promised a number of things. I'm only going to mention a few of them. First of all, we promised that we will reverse the hardships that have been imposed by APNU AFC. The more than 200 taxes that they had imposed, they said they would cut VAT. Instead, they put on VAT on things we never had VAT before. And we said, when we come back into government, we will take off the VAT off of all of those things. There was no VAT on water, no VAT on electricity, no VAT on medicine, no VAT on educational supplies, no VAT on heavy equipment for agriculture and mining purposes. They put on VAT on all of those things. Although they had promised that they will reduce VAT. Those things didn't have any VAT. They put on the VAT on them things. And as a matter of fact, when we were operating with no VAT on those things, we didn't have a single drop of oil or a single cent of oil money. And we were not charging VAT on water. We were not charging VAT on electricity. We were not charging VAT on medicine. They promised that they will cut VAT, and they come into government and they put on VAT on things when I had VAT before. I want you to think about that for a minute. They promised that they will improve benefits to the Guyanese people. They promised that they will double old age pensions within their first 100 days. Comrades and friends, not only they didn't double it in their first 100 days, they spent 5 years in government and they still didn't double it. They promised that they will improve benefits to families, and the first thing they do in government, they take away the grant for school children, the Because We Care cash grant. And many of you are parents, and many of you lost that cash. We were paying that cash grant without a single drop of oil and without a single dollar of oil money. We were paying that cash grant. They come into government, they take away the cash grant. We were supporting the sugar industry without a single dollar of oil money. They came into government. As a matter of fact, I told a story at the previous meeting yesterday. I want to repeat it with your permission, Mr. President. You will recall during the Donald Ramatar presidency, although we were in government, we had a minority situation in the parliament where they had one seat more than us. The AFC and the PNC coming together. And we gave a commitment that we will support sugar. And the then housing minister, Muhammad Irfan Ali, took to parliament a financial paper. Well, he submitted it, I took it based on his request. We submitted a financial paper seeking supplementary allocations of $4 billion for the Central Housing and Planning Authority to compensate Gaisuco for land that we had taken from Gaisuco to develop housing areas. And APNU and AFC, Nagamutu and Ramjatan, leading the AFC, not only did they use their one-seat majority to block the $4 billion, they said they are not putting a single dollar into Gaisuco, but they then turn around and move a motion to take Irfan Ali, Minister Irfan Ali as he then was, to the Privileges Committee of Parliament for him to be disciplined by the Parliament. And what was his great crime? His great crime was going to Parliament and asking for $4 billion to support Gaisuco. As a matter of fact, to compensate Gaisuco for land that we had taken away. That was his great crime. And he said then, and our government said then, we will support Gaisuko and we will continue to support Gaisuko because Gaisuko is critical to the well-being of all agricultural communities and all rural communities in which the sugar industry exists, not only to sugar workers alone. Despite taking that action against the then Minister of Housing, they went into the election campaign promising sugar workers salary increase and promising on the campaign trail that they will not close sugar. As soon as they came in to government, one of the first things they did was to close down 4 sugar estates. So there's a pattern developing. I want you to follow my line of reasoning. You have on the one hand, APNU AFC. They have a particular method of operating, a particular approach. First of all, they will use some puppets to come into areas that they perceive to be or that they know are PPP strongholds. They have some puppets and some surrogates because they can't come because they know you will chase them out as PNC. So no PNC body can't come in places like Black Bush Polder because they know they will not be welcome. So they work through some puppets and some surrogates. And they will come and try to spread disharmony and confusion and create dissatisfaction. They did that in 2011, they did it in 2015, and they're trying to do it again. That's one strategy. Secondly, they have a track record of making promises that they have no intentions of keeping. Thirdly, they have a track record of breaking their promises and doing the opposite of what they promised. And if you look at every single thing that they have promised, that they broke their promise. They promised to support, never to close sugar, they closed sugar. They promised $9,000 bag for paddy, they come in government and they say rice is private business. They promised to cut VAT and they put VAT on things that didn't have VAT before. They promised to increase benefits to families and they take away the cash grant and take away everything else. Take away all of the other benefits that people are getting. They promised to double old age pension in 100 days. They spent 5 years and they never achieved that promise. They didn't even achieve a fraction of it. So there's a pattern developing here. There's a pattern developing here. That includes all of the things that they have put VAT on. We promise we will double old age pension. We promise, particularly in relation to the agriculture sector, that we will reopen the sugar estates. We promise that we will reverse the punitive land rents and water user charges that they had imposed on the Guyanese people. We promise that we will once again resume investing in drainage and irrigation. We promise that we will return the cash grant to the parents of every single child going to school. And that we will carry up that cash grant to $50,000 by the end of this term. We promise that we will distribute 40,000 house lots. We are on the verge of exceeding that. And the list goes on. And every single one of those promises, comrades and friends, we have delivered. And you know that too. You have seen. And I could go on for a long time in every single sector, whether it is infrastructure. If you look only at Region 6, the commitments that we have given in relation to infrastructure. Take, for example, the Hope Light canals that Comrade Zulfi has spoken about already. I'm not going to repeat what he has said. But we said we are going to implement lasting solutions for the traditional problems with flooding and with irrigation. And the Hope Light canals are already under construction, 2 outfall structures and an embankment along the Kanji Creek. Already under network within that configuration. Already under construction. We are doing the same in Region 5. And so, comrades and friends, I know that you know this history. And I'm not going to speak for a very long time to repeat all of the details of this history. Because I know that you know that the People's Progressive Party, your party, the only truly national party in Guyana, the only party that has won and can win a democratic election in this country, the only party that delivers improvements in the lives of every single Guyanese family and every single Guyanese person. I know that you know that the People's Progressive Party has a long track record of delivering on our commitments to you and of ensuring improvements in your lives. And I know that you have enough experience, particularly experience over the last 10 years, to be able to identify the APNU, AFC and their surrogates and their proxies, to be able to identify them and their faults and their fake promises. And so, comrades and friends, you have turned out, and I know that you've turned out in these generous numbers today on a Sunday afternoon, like I said, as testimony and as a signal of the strong and binding relationship between the people of Black Bush Polder and the People's Progressive Party, and that is a relationship that has its roots in the track record of our party. Thank you very much for your support. I know that you really came out. You was here from me fairly often. You was here from Comrade Zilsi even more often because he was doing Black Bush. Every time I check on his Facebook page, he was in Black Bush. But I know you didn't come today to hear, well, maybe you came to hear from Minister Susan. I know for sure you didn't come to hear from Minister Zilfi or myself. And I know for sure that the main attraction of this afternoon's program is the man you came to hear from. And so it is my privilege to hand the microphone over to the man I know you came to listen to today, none other than our dear President, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My respected elders, brothers and sisters, here in Black Bush Polder, it gives me great honor to be here again with you, to not only speak about the development and advancement and support that we have delivered to you here, and to which both ministers who have spoken to already. But I want you to know that we are investing in you because you deserve it. You have consistently stood by this government and with this government, and you deserve the investment that you are making in this community. Secondly, you have showed consistently that with every investment the government make in these communities, in your communities, you are willing to be more productive and to expand your production and ensure that those investments bear the fruits that we want them to bear. So I want you to applaud yourself for the way in which you have been working. You know, I want to tell you a funny story. I came in and I saw the guys at the back. And I remember just a few weeks ago, a brother of ours was on social media. And the man said, you know, the president in Georgetown, he busy eating 12 egg ball. I love egg ball, but I can't eat 12, man. I want to correct my brother that I love egg ball, but the man is one now, you know. But that is the level of freedom. And I want you to understand this, that when the People's Progressive Party Civic is in government, you can express how you feel without having fear, because that is what we are about. Democracy, freedom, and openness. I can remember too, that not so long ago, but 5 years ago, when we were protesting against the hardships on the rice farmers, the sugar workers, and also against what they were trying to do in rigging the elections. We had persons from these communities joining us, but many of the louder voices that we have today
was silenced because they were afraid to speak. We must not take for granted the type of investments that you're making to ensure that your lives are better. Only less than 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, I made 3 important announcements. And this followed many other announcements with the free university education, with the removal of VAT on data, on cell phones, on cell phone accessories. Since we came into office, people forget we had 2 years of COVID, 2 major floods, and 1 major drought season. The highest prices internationally for fuel, the highest price for transport, and the highest food prices, and we have managed to build this economy and expand this economy among all of those challenges. And we sometimes forget some of the things that we've been able to accomplish, some of the things that we've been able to invest in that has further enabled us to have a better life. Only recently, as I have said, we announced that for every single child, the government is going to pay completely the fees for 8 subject CXC. We announced that for those persons who contributed to NIS but did not meet the contributions, that we believe that you should also be rewarded, and we announce a cash payoff to everyone from 500 to 749 contribution. And let me tell you this, as we look towards the future, we have to work with every single farmer in the polders here, to see how we can create an incentive mechanism for you to get on the NIS program. Because when you're in the NIS program and you get to 65 years of age, you will get a decent pension. The highest level of that pension now, at 65, is almost, at 60, sorry, 65 is the old age pension. At 60, is almost $160,000. But we have to ensure that we work with you so that we can enable you to get onto the NIS system, so that when you are the age of 60, you can also benefit this way. And when we look at some of the challenges that you have here as a community, because I want to talk to you a bit about the future. As we expand rice production, we have to build more infrastructure to support that production. And I've asked Minister Zulfikar to look at some of the existing dams and to see whether we can convert those dams and at least have 4 additional drying facilities in every one of the polders to support the farmers. Outside of this, we have to look at ways in which we can expand your income, create more opportunities for your income. And I've asked the Ministry of Agriculture to design a project here, first, where we can start replanting coconut plants, coconut trees, providing you with a Brazilian green nut, the 18-month nut, and we're going to have at least 5,000 to 10,000 plants to start with right here in the polders, and we're going to build a facility that will purchase the coconut nuts and bottle the coconut water right from here for the market here and the market regionally. Those are the things that will help to increase your disposable income. to diversify the earning potential of your land. And then this is important. How do we diversify the earning potential of your land? That whilst you do rice, that we build in this other support mechanism that will enable you to earn additional revenues. These are the things that occupy our minds. How we can do this to support increased production. And this brings me to another initiative outside of the support that we have announced for our rice farmers to ensure that you get $4,000 per bag. We have just announced that for every acre of land, not only for rice farmer, but for every farmer, for every acre of land, we're going to give 1 bag of fertilizer. And when you look at what that means, when you look at what that means for you here, you have about 25,000 acres of rice land and about 1,000 acres of other crops. That is about 26,000 acres of land. That is a transfer to your community here. A direct transfer to your community in the coming days and weeks of $160 million to support our farmers in the polders. We must not take this for granted. We must not take this for granted at all. And I've asked the Ministry of Agriculture, I've asked Dr. Waldron to work with our livestock farmers and to see how we can bring the embryo program here so that we can bring the hybrid embryos to improve the stocks that we have here. So soon, they will be meeting with the farmers to see how we can implement this here in the polders. You heard about the billions of dollars we're spending in the Hope Light Canal. But what would that Hope Light Canal do for you? That Hope Light Canal will open up tens of thousands of new acres of land that we are going to make available to you so that you can own more land. Those without land can own land, and you can use that land to collateralize your investment and expand production. And let me be very clear. We are not satisfied with the pace at which the regularization and titling of land is occurring here in the polders. And I'm going to set aside a specific team with lawyers, the lands and survey, with your representation from the farmers right here in the polders to expedite the processing of title and leases for land here in the polders, because it's unacceptable the time that it's taking right now. Let me also say to you that there is a number of other initiatives that we have started, but in discussion with the farmers, we know that we have to expand these initiatives, because these initiatives will help you to reduce your cost of production, will help every single farmer, and help the community at large. Take, for example, the main drain rehabilitation. We've awarded the contract for the main drain rehabilitation, and this will commence shortly, and we're also going to support it with amphibious excavators to minimize the impact on the roads and the banks of those canals. Outside of that, the block drain rehabilitation, the block drainage for every farmer. I've asked the Ministry of Agriculture to implement immediately a system whereby all farmers will be provided with support for block drainage here in the polders. We're also working with Dr. Waldron and the Ministry of Agriculture, Jagland and others. They will be coming to the polders in the upcoming days to discuss a project through which we want to identify 50 single mothers in each of the polders. So we have 200 such families single motherless families. And what do we want to do? We want to support them by investing in shared houses and other form of agri-tech investment that will allow them to earn and increase their disposable income. Whether it's egg production, whether it's a shared house, we're going to make life easier for these 200 women-led households. And that is the first phase of this program. And we know also that we have 10,000 acres of land in Cookrit that the rice farmers would have occupied, and the conflict it's bringing with the cattle farmers. So we're going to sit with you, not only to see how we can regularize that 10,000 acres, but how we can put the investment in place to remove that conflict between the livestock farmers and the rice farmers, and help our livestock farmers improve the condition under which their animals are kept. These are the things that we're going to invest in the coming months ahead of us to ensure that we resolve further some of the systemic issues and challenges that you have here. I know also that we have given 150 tubes to different farmers to help you in your own drainage system. In addition to that 150, I've asked Minister Zulfikar to have another 150 available for the farmers, especially the cash crop farmers here in the polders. Outside of that, presently, we have just awarded a contract for the building of the new concrete bridge, $239 million at Mibicuri. That was a bridge that you recently raised, and we've awarded that contract for the building of that bridge. The water issue is a major issue. We have tried 4 different times to get that well completed. The technical assessment from the engineers now tell us that we have to do an ultra deep well, which is a very deep well, and we have to go out to an international tender to get an ultra deep well done here. We have received those tenders, we're about to award it, and that will be an investment of more than $500 million to resolve your water challenges, water issues, and water problems. We are making these investments because we care about you. We are making these investments because we are concerned about your welfare. We want you to have a higher quality of life. That is why we are making these investments. And my friends, I know that we have dedicated 2 hours to every farmer with a machine. 2 hours to every farmer. But looking at the production that is coming out of here, and looking at the expansion and the dedication of our farmers, we now have to expand that. And I have asked the Minister Zulfikar to increase the time for every farmer from 2 hours to 6 hours, 6 working hours. We're going to add 1 additional machine to support this development in the polders. We are going to invest very shortly in 4 new irrigation pumps. 4 new irrigation pumps to support the polders here. And we want to work with you on finding a system to support and expand household wealth and household income. Outside of that, the Ministry of Finance will be looking at a project in which we can have a roof improvement program. When we look here in the polders, I know how important harnessing and harvesting that rainwater is for you. And we have to ensure that those who need roof improvement, to give them the ability to do this, we are going to launch a project for a roof improvement program here in the polders. So my dear friends, the reconstruction of 73 checks on the water court is another project that we are going to complete for you. These are the things that occupy our minds. These are the things that we worry about. These are the things that we think about when we think about how we want to improve your life, improve the conditions under which you live. And my friends, in every single community, in Region 6, we can point directly the cash transfer and investment that we have made that has uplifted the lives of people. And let me give you a simple example that I'm sure many of you will take for granted. If the PPP Civic was not in government, you would not have had that Because We Care grant, and that would have robbed your children in the Black Bush Polder of almost $250 million. That is what will transfer to your children under the Because We Care grant program. Do not take these things for granted. The National School Grant. The National School Grant. When we were here during the campaign, before that in opposition, the complaint was that your children don't have textbooks. They don't have the school, they have to take chalk to the school. Today, we have given a grant to every single school so that they will have the money to buy the learning material and the teachers don't have to bother you to buy those things. Let us look at another example. Under the Ministry of Human Services, in pension to the old age pensioners alone, if the PPP Civic was not in government, you would not have had $2.3 billion transferred to the pollers in pensions alone. Imagine if we took $2.3 billion out of the pockets of residents here. Between pension and children is almost $2.8 billion. And I'm not telling you about the support for people living with disability and those on the register, the public assistance register. I'm not telling you about the $100,000 grant that will increase that we have given. But in the future, we are going to work with you to have co-investment opportunities where the government will invest with you to create wealth right here in the polders. That is the future we want. One in which we create new opportunities. One in which we partner with you for your development, your prosperity, and ensuring that your lives continue to improve. That is what keeps us up in the night. Outside of the more than $5 billion we're spending on the Hope Light Canal, in the polders alone, in the last 4 years, we have spent more on supporting agriculture in DNI than the entire 33 years of the APNU ARC government combined. In the last 2 years alone, we have done that. So my friends, let's be very clear. I am not here to tell you everything is perfect. I am not here to tell you that we don't have challenges, that there are no weaknesses, because there are challenges and there are weaknesses, but you can trust us to stand with you and stand by you in dealing with those challenges and weaknesses. And in life, you must determine who you can trust. Who you can trust with your children's future, with your parents' future, with your grandparents' future. Who can you trust with your family? And look at the record between 2015 and 2020 and 2020 and now, and tell me who you can trust. We have fulfilled completely every single thing we have promised you in the manifesto. And do not take that for granted. Do not ever take that for granted. Because it takes hard work. relentless sacrifices. And what we have been able to achieve in the polders and across Region 6, what we have been able to achieve comes also from the sacrifice and hard work of those before us. We stand on the shoulders of those before us. This region is about to transform in unbelievable way. When we are building the stadium in Palmyra, you know what they're doing? They're questioning why you need a stadium in Region 6. When we remove the tolls from the bridge, you know what they're doing? Questioning why are you removing the tolls? Is it economically sound? When we're building the bridge across the Quarantine River, they're asking, what is that for? Ask yourself why. Why? But we say to them that the people of Region 6, the people of Region 10, the people of Region 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they all deserve the same level of development. They all have the same entitlement in this country. Because we are a national party. We are the only national party. So my friends, I don't want to be long. I've already gone long, right? I just want to show you that the plans we have will take hard work. It will take more than 5 years ahead of us. But we will do it in 5 years. Because as your president, I intend to make 5 years, 10 years by working 24 hours per day. 24 hours per day. What we have been able to accomplish in the last 4 years is extraordinary. Leaders around the world, private sector around the world, they're all asking a simple question: how did you guys get it done? Relentless work. And we're doing all of this whilst we're also managing threats on our borders. Many times they try to destabilize the country. The intellectual authors behind destabilization. When you have these people can go on social media and be happy that there is turmoil in a region, it tells you something about their mentality. When they can be stoking division and violence, when they can be stoking people to do things that are contrary to the law, it tells you something about their mentality. Because they are only concerned about creating destruction, being destructive, and stopping the progress and development that is undertaking right now. As long as it takes, you can be guaranteed and assured that you have a true friend and family in the People's Progressive Party civic government. And our doors of love, trust is open to every single one. I've gone to many meetings already across this region, and I've seen the outpouring of love and support. But it is our responsibility to convert that love and support into action in the interests of your own future, your family future, your community future, Region 6 future, and Guyana future. I thank you, and God bless all of you.